The next thing that I like to do, which is really the most simple, which I'm sure you all are doing, is taking notes with your poker tracker software. Now, this is something that I think almost every student that I've had probably doesn't do to my expectations when we start the lessons. I really think that it's one of the most critical things you can do. And whether you're doing it away from the table or at the table, the more notes that you have on players, the better. I know a lot of players are hesitant to take notes, maybe because they think it would take away from their actual game playing, or maybe they'll say that they're playing against a weaker player who most likely they're not going to ever see again. So what's the point in taking notes? But one of the best feelings in poker really is seeing the exact line that you have a note on that you can go immediately back to and make by far the best decision. It might not even happen every day, but if it happens 2, 3 times a week, that's really going to improve your win rate long term. So it's a really critical thing to have happen. Um, the other thing is, if you're really drastically worried about it slowing down your gameplay, then you're probably playing too many tables. So if you're unable to make any notes at the table while 12 tabling, for example, my suggestion would probably be drop down to 10 tables so that you can allow yourself to be taking notes constantly at the table as well. And like I said, this will also keep you away from autopiloting, and it'll allow you to stay in the moment as opposed to just sort of roboting yourself around all the tables. The third thing that I really like to do while at the table is to constantly question my image at the table. I'm constantly asking myself, okay, at this single table, do they look at me as aggressive, passive? Do they look at me as a winner, as a loser, as winning a lot of hands or losing a lot of hands? These are really simple questions, but as long as you can always answer that, it means that you're focused in the moment. And if you've seen any of my older videos, I really take image as one of a really large consideration, probably more than most players. And I'm really going to be interested to see how that influences my other decisions. And if you can answer those really simple questions of, do they think I'm playing passively or aggressively, and do they think that I'm more likely to, if I'm winning a lot of pots, they're probably going to be folding more to me. If I'm losing a lot of pots, they're probably going to be calling me down more. So if you can answer those really simple questions, it'll really aid you in a lot of your decisions. Even if they become much more complex, you can answer the questions. Finally, the fourth thing is you always want to be focusing on identifying the recreational players. When you allow yourself to do that and you're thinking actively about how to engage them in pots, it's really going to drastically increase your win rate. Okay, now let's take a look at the ideas for reviewing after a session. This is probably what most people ask me about, and the best thing that I can really tell you guys, and the way that really my game jumped to another level, is when I became close with a bunch of friends that also took poker as seriously as I do. It's really invaluable to have guys that will immediately tell you your play stinks here, or and they're not going to sugarcoat it, and they're going to think really critically about your game. And an even better solution to this is having guys that really think about the game in a polarizing way from yourself. That was actually one of the ruts that I fell into for a little while. Is I have these great poker friends. They're actually part of my wedding party. Great guys. We talk poker all the time. One of the problems we were actually having was, first of all, they helped me over a lot of obstacles. Definitely aided my game all the time. But one thing that actually happened was a lot of times we'd look at poker in a way that was probably too similar. So I ended up branching out, becoming friends with other guys as well that looked at poker in a lot different way. And that really aided my game, particularly in some of my math-based game, which was, as I'm sure you guys know from watching my video, rather lacking. Um, but that really helped me to expand my game and to think about things really in a different way. So really getting a few base friends, and the more the better probably, as long as they're really serious and take it as seriously as you do about poker, is always going to help you. Pretty much after a session, I'm talking with my friends with at least four. I'm bringing at least 4 or 5 hands to them, and a lot of times one hand can take 20, 30, 2 hours even potentially to talk about. But it's going to really help you long term. And I would always start on Card Runners, look at the forum, see who's interested in who's playing your same limits. But there's always ways to find guys that want to talk poker, and really, you'll eventually accrue a ton of different guys that have a lot of different viewpoints. It's really going to be helpful for you.